Whoa. Whoa. It's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. Yeah. It's Sunday night. It's Sunday night in the dream. P. Mize from down in Baja. The land of Baja. Norte or Sur. Chuck Chambers, dude, Carooster. You're moving to the beach. What beach are you moving to, Carooster? Oregon, the Oregon coast or the Hawaii? You going Hawaii? You doing a big beach change? Bali. Lower California. Oh, you're not south of Guerrero Negro then. The Oregon coast. Central Oregon coast. Good for you. I like it out there. I like the Oregon coast. I really do. Central Oregon coast. There's that fantastic wilderness in the and somewhere around there. A couple good ones. Gary Edwards, aloha. Aloha, Mr. Hunt. Yeah, we're here on a Sunday night. The Sunday night in the dream. All is well, dude. SoCal, dude. Yeah, like, subscribe, join, become a member, all that good stuff, dude. And yeah, we're here, dude. We are no refunds, no buyer's remorse, dude. No returns, dude. The madness continues. Yeah, and people do suck. I said Southern California, dude. The land of the civilized savage, dude. It is the land of the civilized savage, man. And so yeah, we're here, dude. As you can see, we're rearranging everything in the I gotta get this figured out with the lights. And I'm not happy with the background right now, but I love it when the weekends are over and they go back across the border. Right on, Carooster. Yeah, we're changing it up a little bit. It's real. I'm going to get the microphone so I can get back here more and not be so in the screen. But yeah, I did the big rearrange. I built some new shelves over in the closet to get all the get it tight. We're tightening it up. We're trying to get it all going. And then I'm like, it's time to get going on the old sewing machine again. Because now that I'm kind of getting a little bit more familiar with this Streamlabs desktop, and I have I think I got all the gear to pull it off. I think it's time to we're getting there. It's baby steps. The first thing was actually like getting uncluttered unclaustrophobic. It was to get some space behind me. I was fully boxed in before. So we're doing that. I've been doing a lot of kind of not tidying up, like readjusting things around the property to like clean up the space, not messiness, but like clean out, like smooth it out. I don't know what the word is. Make it more aesthetically pleasing. Because where it's going to be so the kids go back to school next week up here. I'm like, oh my God, dude, we're that late in the season, man. Oh yeah. They were, yeah. Oh, you got to do the cow field pretty regularly, man. That's one of those things that just needs to be done. every month or so. Go and drag the cow field. The Longhorns they're pretty stoked, man. The old Scottish Highlanders are pretty stoked. But yeah, no, it's been like other things. Like I fully like moved all these. I moved the fire pit to the back, cleaned up this front section in the front because I want to plant a bunch of. I'm actually gonna work on getting a little mini orchard going. I think I can pull it off. It's all about just building in the irrigation system. So I think I'm there. I cleaned up the spot. I have it in my mind, but it took a minute to get there. And it's been hot. It finally got hot around here, and it finally went over 100 like 2 days ago. And it's been a pretty mild summer up here, which has actually made it pretty nice. But now I'm fully adjusted. It didn't start out hot, which was nice. It allowed me to acclimatize in the mid to upper 90s. And now that it's in triple digits, it's really not that much. And then we've been going up into the high country a bunch, man. It's definitely been a big improvement on just morale to go up to the forested high country and get out of it. Yeah, orchards. Yeah, the good shape once they get established. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do a big. If all goes like I'm down to like do a big tree investment and get all my redwood trees are finally kicking in. I planted one redwood tree like 2 years ago. It's booming because I picked a good spot for it. And then the two I put two more in the next fall there, and they finally kicked in. And then I put another one in like a year ago, springtime, and that one's kicked in. So I've got, but I was down in because the redwood trees just need rain. I mean, just need water. And I was down in Bakersfield the other day doing a supply run, and I came around the corner and there's just this big old redwood tree, and I was like, all right, dude, I can get a big old redwood tree. I want a big old redwood tree. The first 5 years they got to be watered. Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. I'm starting to get into the rhythm of it. Overwatering's a tricky thing with the fruit trees and stuff. I noticed that like my nectarine tree is kind of booming, but I think I overwatered it a little bit because I dug out the ring, the tree ring, and I did a super soak, and I think I kind of like shocked it a little bit. But that's and then then on this one side, the neighbor's side, I'm trying to propagate a bunch of the east. We have a lot of the western, I forget what they're called. They grow really well. They're super drought tolerant, but I'm trying to clone a bunch of those. So my cloning thing's going pretty good. And all my peppers are kicking, and the garden's finally turning the corner where it looks like it's gonna be happening, dude. Yeah, you gotta. I now that I'm on the getting it figured out, I'm definitely on the thing of digging, because I got a backhoe and stuff, so I can do this. But like the next, because they went for my pomegranate tree, And I went in and I fully dug around and put the meshing down and got gnarly, and they seem to have backed off. But yeah, no, it's for us, it's the it's there's a little bit of the voles, but it's the ground squirrels, man. The ground squirrels are lame-o, dude. Yeah. No, it's that thing, but you gotta leave a space for the taproot, man. That's the whole thing, dude. It's a tricky thing. Like, yeah, you put the big wire and then the taproot gets jammed up. So it's just a battle to get it around that first bit. Because once they kind of I don't know, it hasn't been that long, but they seem to once you get around the corner with it, it's because I had this one redwood tree that like something kept coming at it, and I think I probably jinxed myself right now saying that, dude. So I'll stop, dude. But yeah, I had some issues. Yeah, the ground squirrels, man. If you can get them, you can get them, man. I have my squirrelinator, but they see this batch seems pretty they come from the neighbors, dude. Because they have a bunch of pine trees over there, and they're just here on the weekends. There's like a blank empty lot, and then the one last neighbor, dude, and I see the squirrels like run over and just be like, hey, look, I'm going over there. Look, there's no squirrels over there. I'm going over there. Yeah, there's no squirrels over here because I killed all your buddies, dude. The brutality. You can use sub irrigation. Has anyone else feeling a shift in there? I'm feeling super fired up to build and be creative. The artwork behind it looks crazy cool. Thank you, HS. Well, I think that's what I wanted to get into ultimately, HS, was exactly what you're saying is I think now is the time. And I always say that, but it's proven to be true pretty consistently. Now is the time. And it always seems to be now is the time. Maybe that is the truth. It's always now is always the time, you know? So it's sorry, I just tripped out for a second. What am I tripping out on? I just tripped out on my national forest map, and then I was looking at the index to topos, and I just had a glitch out, dude. Full matrix glitch. But no, it's the time is now. The whole thing's been exposed for all right, let's see. I'm into the energy shift here. I'm getting rid of stuff. Yep, getting rid of a lot of stuff, moving stuff around. It's there seems to be a lot of space opening up. There seems to be some resolution with some of the dramas. I think more like inside the immediate hula hoops versus the big hula hoop. The big hula hoop's getting ready to just spin off. The chuds are about to like lose their minds. It's all happening, dude. Thank Frank Hendrickson, dude. I appreciate that, dude. FOMO sapien. What better place than here? What better time than now, dude? Yeah, for sure. No, I can see that you're really starting to see the buyer's remorse, which is fantastic. Because now that I feel that the more people that the people that run it won't let it fall when else. Exactly, dude. It's the thing. It's the one thing you can count on, dude, is the well, maybe not, dude. I don't know, dude. And the more I think about it, it all depends on where you are, what kind of contract you're making, dude. But we've you know, I think the key at this point is to pull the, like always, pull the judo move. Let everything else stand in the eye of the storm, dude. It seems like there's no denying the hustle was the best hustle ever put forth, and those that have been hustled are gonna double down on the hustle. That I tell you what, man, the one of the great lessons I learned in my life was the scam when I got scammed. So I don't, this was in my YouTube life. So this must have been 8 years ago. 8 years ago, maybe more. Maybe more. So me and my wife were like starting to get some financial traction. And so we were sitting there and we like to I like to camp and she likes to glamp. So we got to find the middle space. And we'd had Owl was young and the minigram was 13ish, 14ish, 13ish. And so we would do some camping trips then. And like I could make it pretty plush, but it was for the girls, it wasn't, it's a different vibe than the boys, dude. It's a little easier for us to just go out and rough it in the in the nature. But so there was this point where like I was trying to buy a used pop-up trailer, dude. One of those like mellow used pop-up trailers, dude. Nothing crazy. Just trying to get a used one, dude. I figured it'd be like $1,000. Looked around, couldn't find any that were like not super funky, right? And so I was looking around on, I forget what would it have been? Craigslist, I guess Craigslist, right? Maybe some one of those sites, Craigslist, whatever. And I was looking for pop-up trailers, and I was up just digging in one night, and I gave up, and my wife's like, no, we got to find one, dude. We'll find one, dude. And so went through the whole thing, and then we found one. And this is the hustle, right? So I found this cool one, and it had a whole, like, there's all sorts of pictures, and the whole story was about, some wife of some veteran, and he passed away and they couldn't keep it, and blah blah blah, and the pictures were nice, so it was like a good deal, and the whole thing. And it was, and so I was like, all right, man. And then so it was like, all right, put a deposit down, and I was like, okay. And I did that. And when I was doing, they were like, oh, you got it. This is bad. This was what, like 10 years ago, right? So they were like, you use some prepaid cards. And I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not one to be like get involved with like a lot of stuff. But it was like one of those times. And I did. And I remember I was like, this doesn't seem right for some reason. Now you would be like, you just wouldn't do that. Like everyone knows not to do it now, but it wasn't like, it was like different like 10 years ago, right? That's a decade. And I'm like, yeah, it seems weird, but I was like, this is gonna be rad. We're gonna get this trailer. I'm gonna take it we're gonna go up to Big Sur and go surfing and camp out on the beach. It's gonna be bitching, man. Surfer's dream, dude. And something felt weird about it. And then I got like an email the next day. It's like, well, it needs to like, and the whole thing was, needed to get moved out. And it was like, I got another email that was like, you need to send this money to like transport it. And I'm like, what? Like, wait a minute, dude, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what? Like, I'm just like holding it so I can get it. And I remember listening to like at that time. So this is like a decade ago. And I sat there and I go, I remember Alex Jones going off about the African warlord scam and the fact that like the how the scam works is it's not the fact that people realize it. The fact is that people don't want to realize they get scammed. So they keep paying into it thinking they're going to get like not get scammed in the long run. And I sat there and I go, I just got ripped off, didn't I? And I was like, nah. And like all I wanted to like it's this weird thing. Like all I wanted to do was not be getting ripped off because I'd already like gotten scammed out like $1,000. And I'm like, I'm getting scammed. And the thing is I never in 1,000 years thought that there would be a fake posting that was this elaborate about a pop-up trailer, dude. I was like, it just didn't. I get it, like getting scammed for gold bars or something stupid, but like a pop-up trailer, I was like, it's such a random thing, dude. How many people are out looking for pop-up trailers, dude? Like whatever. And I sat back and I was like, you're gonna get scammed. Don't get any more scam. You just own it. Just admit to yourself you've been ripped off and tell your wife that you got scammed and like and move on. And I remember sitting there and getting the email, and then they called me and they're like, dude, and I go, there's no trailer out there, dude. And they're like, yeah. And I go, no, I'm not sending you any more money, dude. You got me. You're a horrible human being, dude. Like we had a plan with my wife and my kids, dude. Like you're horrible. And I guess what I'm trying to say is most people, 99% of most people, even though they know they're being scammed, will commit to the scam because they don't want to believe that they got scammed. And the secret to not getting scammed is to admit when you are getting scammed and be like, I'm getting scammed, and you take your licks and you move on, dude. And so here we are. Many of us or some of us saw that the great American Bend Over Festival was about to happen. And we did our very best to warn anyone we could that there was a giant scam was about to happen. And it's here. And the reason, and it goes back to this person who's like, this is a great time. For those of us who didn't get scammed, we're free and clear, dude. Like it's like we didn't get scammed, dude. We're good. And so with that energy, we get to go thrive and do our thing and move around freely within this whole thing. The ones that actually thought that there was going to be some like great awakening or America was going to get made great again, or the deep state was going to get exposed, or the people were going to jail, or they were going to ship out all the immigrants, so there's going to be no more wars, right? Those people, like, I hope for their own sake, they'll just admit they got scammed. Like, just admit it's okay. I got it. Like, it was a great hustle. And the point that I'm trying to make is when I got scammed, it wasn't me being stupid. It was me actually doing like a fair amount of like research and being like, this is reasonable. This is a reasonable deal I'm getting involved with. Like, it wasn't like there was just like one grainy picture of a pop-up camper and like one line that said pop-up camper for sale. It's in Arizona or something. It was pages deep, and they sent me like I asked for they sent me a whole thing. Like, it was super involved. Like, they earned their $1,000 for the level of detail they put into the scam. And so there's no returns. It's caveat emptor, buyer beware. Caveat emptor, dude. Americans forgot about caveat emptor. Buyer beware, dude. And so that falls onto me. And it doesn't matter that it was a scam. My job is to acknowledge the scam. Like, it's even, I sit here and I'm like even embarrassed to talk about it 10 years later. Like, dude, I got scammed out of $1,000 for a pop-up trailer. But the reason I bring it up is that is ego. That is it, and the ego will get you. That's how the whole scam works. That's how people sell the Brooklyn bridges. That's how P.T. Barnum and there's a sucker born every minute. It's all ego. It's all get rich quick schemes. It's how Vegas gets away with it. It's how the lottery system gets away with it. It's how they all get away with it. It isn't that they're relying on it being totally clean. They're counting on the fact that at a certain point you're going to understand it's a scam, and your ego is going to kick in, and you're going to double down and commit to the scam, double down. And they know this because most people don't have enough courage to admit they got duped. And that's where we're at in America. For those who have admitted they got duped like 8 months ago, 9 months ago now, 8 months ago, and they've decided to stop coping and stop hoping that they weren't getting conned, like, they got a shot. For those of us who saw it, it was very disappointing. But, because you hope that for once it's not a scam. Like, you do hope that it's not a scam. But for those who are going to get scammed, for the rest of us, we got lots of maneuver room. Like, there's never been a greater time to maneuver, because the people that are getting scammed are now going to really get bent over in humiliation ritual. And it's amazing to see this humiliation ritual going on. And listen, they just had one for the lefty loony weirdos, dude. They just had a giant humiliation ritual. It was that guy's not crazy. That guy, no, what is it? He's perfectly healthy, dude. He has no cognitive issues. He's fine. He's healthy. Like, that was them, like, getting dressed up and put on stage and forced to, eat their own puke and to be gross. But so that's what's going on is we live at a time now, for those who don't want to admit they're going to get scammed, the triple down now, because the double down. So it was super obvious it was going to be a scam. That's why they rolled out Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock and did all the WWF stuff with Dana White. And, that's why they put, the wrestling dudes, Jim McMahon's wife as head of education, dude. Like that's why all the people are where they are is so you could be like, dude, this is an obvious like hustle, dude. It's a scam, dude. And you're gonna get Mexican Coke, not high fructose corn syrup Coke, though you're still gonna pound sugar. It's all been a scam. And for those that are going to that are going to have to triple down on this, because the double down was the whole Epstein thing. Like, the Epstein was like the final, like, hey, you guys, this is your final chance to pull out, dude. Like, if you don't pull out on the Epstein thing, like more wars, more chaos, more dumb foolery, more fleecing, more fisting will occur, dude. And so that was the final like heads up for anyone. And now it's beautifully being orchestrated in such a fantastic way that, I mean, you got to marvel at it, dude. You got to marvel that the hero that that the one that can lead, like, all right, this is how crazy it's gotten. The one dude who can lead them out of their total hustle is Nick Fuentes, dude. like, like that's how crazy it's gotten. We're all the hustle and the one who's gonna be the deep state operative who's going to lead them out of the dark forest is going to be Nick Fuentes, dude, for the win. And it's pretty amazing, dude, to see this going on in modern America, and just to watch the church and the Christians get suckered by this thing. Like I think for a little bit I was kind of like angry about it. Like, wow, dude, like, like I wanted to believe that the Christians would have discernment. Like I don't know. Like I believed, like I'm as a Christian, I see it pretty clearly, dude. But maybe that's because I'm not a cult member of any of it. But I think I struggled with that for a moment. I was listening to our temporary pastor today going, if it wasn't for 50c3, none of the churches could afford to be here. And I was like, what? Like, wow. Like you bought in, you haven't done your research on the 501c3 hustle, dude. Like, all right, man. Okay, so God is short of cash, huh, buddy? It's all about these buildings and this property, isn't it, dude? Yeah, dude. So I've been, but then at the same time, today's church service, I talked with an old timer who's down to form like a food co-op next year. And I was like, well, we probably should get going now so we can get it going for next spring. He's like, yeah, dude, totally. And it's this thing where like there's no way out of it. I was watching. So Owl and I have been studying, colonial North America, right? Like the French and Indian War and that period of American history right now. And it's interesting because we're kind of doing two things at once. We're studying the leading up to the Civil War, and at the same time we're studying like the pre-colonial America, because it's pretty interesting that like everything's getting set in place before the Revolutionary War that needs to get resolved with the Civil War. Like it's kind of fascinating how like it's all played itself out where we're studying. They almost seem out of sync, but they're really not, because you can't like what makes the Civil War of the mid 1800s happen goes back like hundreds of years, dude, to the forming of the colonies based upon like who believed certain things about what God and the Bible were telling them, and the colonies it's very interesting. And so we watched just for fun. Like I was like, you know what movie we'll watch is we watched Last of the Mohicans last night, because that's about a depiction of, based upon James Fenimore Cooper's book, The Last of the Mohicans. So we watched the movie last night, and I was like, wow, it's violent, dude. Like he doesn't really like violence. He's like, wow, it's violent, dude. And I was like, well, like it was a very violent time. And so we had a big talk about violence. And I was like, look, son, is you have to understand that due to God's grace, you live in a time where you as a young human being and your parents as older human beings don't live in a violent time where like it's violence is paramount. And I was like, but we just live in a bubble. And you have to be aware of your blessings to live in a bubble without violence, while the world is extremely violent right now. You wouldn't want to be a 10-year-old child in the Gaza Strip. Yes, I will always mention it at some point, the genocide occurring in Gaza, you wouldn't want to be a young man in the wheat fields of Eastern Europe either, dude, with America's military industrial complex proxy wars. But we had this big talk about like the responsibility of growing up in a bubble of peace, and how important it is to understand why we don't subscribe to the violence. It's not because we're not aware of it. It's not because we don't understand that we contain it. It's because we've been given an opportunity not to have to live it. And that is a divine intervention that I think I've been pretty aware of most of my life is the grace to live in a time and a place where I can move about freely and speak freely and be willing to take ownership of that energy, right? And I think that that's the difference with the people that have bought into the hustles and are getting ritualistically humiliated before our very eyes is if you don't want to own the fact that America is a militaristic, vampiric state, and I speak of the corporation of the United States, just to be clear, and that the only reason that we have the ability to sit and even discuss any of this is at the expense of other people, you get into this understanding of like, well, what are we supposed to do with that energy? And that's where we're meant to thrive. If you've truly made peace with the darkness that is the American empire, then you understand that we have an obligation as those who haven't bought into the hustle, right? And part of not buying into the hustle is truly understanding who is running the show for those who have bought into the hustle. See, the people that have bought into the hustle, they be the polarized people. Like they can't dig into that thing because they need all those people not to understand their true nature as human beings, right? See that like the people that want to buy into the polarization, and I can only speak for Americans, is because they don't want to realize the truth that a human being left to his own devices will ultimately do whatever it takes to sustain a mellow reality on a certain level. And if that means what it means, then that's what it is. It doesn't mean you have to co-sign it. No, that's the scam. That's the doubling down of the scam right now is you don't have to co-sign it. You need to actually like thrive and break. And now is the time to thrive. And I think when all this weird stuff with Palantir and the stable coins and all the nonsense really kicks in, the new digital gulag, if you will, those of us who have prepared our spiritual selves to thrive are ultimately going to be able to like thread the needle. I really do. The more and more I study it, and the more I understand it, and the more of come to terms with it, is it really is about this understanding of oneself. And the reason that the polarized people are getting conned and will ultimately be used as a destructive force against themselves or the other polarized thing is because they don't understand that their true self, and that's how they get manipulated. Because if you understand your true self, you've made peace with your true self, and you've gone to God to relieve that burden, right? Like I always go to the thing is, when I really think about it, that day I sat out in the forest of Central Oregon and was about to become a violent activists, and I was sitting in that grove of old growth trees, and the trees were like, not in our name, man. If you go do violence, that's in your name. That's your ego. That's you. We're fine. We're trees. In fact, we're all going to get burned down in about 30 years, dude, in a catastrophic fire. And we're okay with it, dude. Like, it sucks. It's going to suck for you, dude. You're going to be standing there and being like, oh my God, one of my favorite forests in Central Oregon is now ash. But that is the nature of the forest, right? And so the trees told me, like, so imagine this, like, and I think I'm actually like realizing this right now in real time. If I had back in 1995 or 6 or about mid 90s, if I had actually committed to violence and to save the forests and do the, and gone out of my pacifist, nonviolent activism, and I had actually turned hot, I would have been sitting in there in that forest and would have left to go save those trees. And the irony would have been that 30 years later, those trees would have been destroyed in a catastrophic fire started by lightning. And it would have all been for naught. It would actually, and that's what the trees told me. Like, I remember the trees distinctly telling me the truth about not in our name and understanding what that meant and going on. And from that time, it did, I had to go explore the depths of alcoholism and drug addiction to truly solve the riddle of that the serial killer, the destroyer is me. I am the destroyer, dude. Myself. So I had to destroy myself ultimately in a weird, fantastic, like, twist of fate and blessing by God. Like, I had to go destroy the destroyer and come to peace with the destroyer. So when I emerged as a person and began my journey of self-healing through my journey of sobriety and made peace with myself as the destroyer, I was able to understand that, like, I don't need to be the destroyer. I just have to make peace with myself, the destroyer. And when I did that, it gave me a great understanding of the manipulation being used against us. And then I remember, like, I will never forget standing at that protest for the what was the thing going on in North Dakota, the water thing? I don't even remember what it's called anymore. Standing Rock. I'll never forget standing in Standing Rock, and Orange Man 1 had been elected the first time. Orange won. And there were people that I knew, and I talk about this frequently. There were people that I knew as nonviolent activists, like to the core, like full people that we talked about, like the thing. But me, I always talked about it from the point of view of I'm a reformed nonviolent activist who is a reformed killer. Like, see, that was the thing. Like, I had to go to the journey of, like, well, I started as a youthful pacifist, because I didn't want to do that. And then I realized that the pacifism wasn't going to work, and that I was ultimately, in order to do it, I had to come to terms with my participation in the final solution, which led me on a dark journey. And then I had to make peace with the fact that that is me. And then I reformed myself again to be a pacifist, again, holding the tenets of do no harm, right? Like, I guess I'm not a pacifist, but I practice a pacifist life until I'm not a pacifist. You know what I mean? like I will defend myself. I will do harm to those that wish to harm me. But what I'm getting at is, I guess that's not really pacifism on any level, but you get what I'm trying to say is because I had this great understanding of who I am, and I reform myself, I hold that truth. Like, I know me without a deep relationship with God and forgiveness and grace and dignity. I'm a freaking serial killer, dude. Like, and so And so here we are, right? So I'm not going to get conned by like, oh my God, like we're going to like, I already see through all this stuff, dude. And so that's what I mean is you're not going to trick me with like the orange man or the woke movement or any of these systems based upon polarization, because until we admit the truth of the human condition, we will forever be stuck in this revolving military industrial complex system. Because how that thing works upon is again look no further than the scam. The only way they're able to perpetrate this thing is by getting people to say, it's not me. It's not me. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. And that's how they got away with it. Like you go listen to those dudes over there in the wheat fields. The who started, who are no longer with us, but there's plenty of interviews with these guys. They were all dudes that pretended they weren't going to do that. And then they did that, and now they're gone because they lived in a delusional state of what it is to be a human being. And I think that we owe a great responsibility to teach our children the truth. And the truth is that we are violent, uncivilized, crazy monkeys without God. And then with God, we're still violent, uncivilized, crazy monkeys, but we have grace and forgiveness and dignity and discernment, right? So we don't need to actually act out on our crazy genocidal monkey tendencies. We can actually be creations in his image. And so, so when we were talking about this last night, it was very, very interesting to talk about the nature of the human condition and how we can set ourselves free. And we can't set ourselves free by denying the truth. See, that's how to go back full circle where this all started. That's how the scam is done. The scam is done is to get people to not understand that there's no absolving yourself of this, that there is no free pass. There is no, it wasn't me. It is all of us. And that's okay. That's why those of us who know this truth will thrive, because I don't have the ghosts in my machine. I'm not walking around North America not understanding that we did the same thing to what the Palestinians are experiencing now, once upon a time, dude. And that's why we get to hang out here is colonialism and all these things, which have been used as a bludgeon of like, you're either like laughed or like, look, as a middle of the road, liberal, conservative, Christian dude, man, like I don't need to pretend that the America wasn't built on the back of genocide. Like that's the truth. And there doesn't need to be any woke fear of it. Like that's how the woke movement got away with it. The woke movement got away with it, like trying to deny like the truth of slavery. It's like, we don't need to deny that, do we? Like, we don't need to deny that because you have the John Browns, you have the abolitionists, you have all these gnarly people that chose violence in the name of stopping that, right? Like, so again, is listen to, you can go, listen to him, go read John Brown's final words, dude, about it and where he was coming from. And you realize that like the problem isn't the fact of what we've as a society have built ourselves on, which is a bunch of gnarliness. It's the fact that we choose not to acknowledge it and that we choose to pretend it didn't occur. Like you can read the dispatches from this area that I live in. Like there doesn't need to be the shame is pretending that didn't happen. The guilt is pretending that didn't happen. The courage is to admit that it did happen. And that there is that we as modern people, if you like, listen, the corporation's based upon denialism. We don't do that. That's not what we're the good guys. The word that's like listening to the IDF, like we're the most moral army in the world, dude. Like as we genocide and starve a bunch of people, dude. And you're gonna come, it's all gonna come out that the rate of people inside of that mechanism aren't gonna cope well over the long term. You're gonna see a massive amount of like people that self-eliminate who participated in that because they aren't moral. They aren't honorable, dude. It's a very dishonest, demoralizing act to participate in a genocide. And so when we look at these things, is that's the hustle right now. If you've woken up to the truth, like our nation is basically co-signing and paying for a genocide on Spaceship Earth, and then paying for another generational elimination of the Ukrainians. Like that like it's weird. I watch like a lot of like prop from like Kiev. I watch this channel out of Kiev. Like those people are dying thinking they're standing up for some sort of valiant idea. Meanwhile, back here in America, we know they're just going to the meat grinder for Lindsey Graham's and the new John McCain, dude, the orange McCain, bro. And so again, it's not that the thing is not that like it just is. And the quicker you realize that the scam is based upon you denying that you're willing to be scammed. See, I was willing to be scammed because I wanted that trailer, dude. Like the picture I had was it's going to be so rad. It was going to be so rad. And my intuition told me, dude, it's too good to be true. But I didn't listen until round 2. And then I went, oh my God, override. And again, I can only attribute that to like some crazy rant of Alex Jones. And I heard it being like, the only way to get out of a scam is to admit you're getting scammed. And that's the thing. Like America, the corporation is based upon the scam that you think you live in America, the republic. You don't live in the constitutional republic that is the America myth. You live in the corporation of America, which is the genocidal American industrial complex that is all about like poisoning your children and bombing them and indoctrinating them and all these dark things. But that's the scam is for you to be like, nah, it can't be true, dude. It can't. It is. It's right in front of our faces, and that is that space, that understanding that there's the thin veneer is why those of us who see it are able to maneuver through this, because we're not being conned, because we understand there is no darker force than me without God. Me without God, I'm a pretty dark force with God. You know what I mean? Like I got my own issues, dude. So you know that's why it's a great time to not be buying into the hustle. Don't buy into the hustle, and don't look for answers to the hustle either. Like I see people like, dude, it's not even worth like figuring it out. Just realize that your only way through is Nick Fuentes. That dude's laying it all out, dude, in all its ugliness, dude. And there's a couple interest. I've been watching this black girl who's a nurse who's a full Nick Fuentes fan. And she analyzes his clips. And it's pretty cool because she does it and there's this other channel with this black dude. They get it. Like they aren't caught up in the we have to trust within. That's right, Caruster. Like, yeah, everyone's got to stop looking for the system to solve the problem. The system's told you they're not going to solve the problem, man. It's us. It's us. We can solve the problem. And it's about, and that's where I go back to the thank you, Caruster, by the way. And the thing is we have to take ownership of our space. which is a very hard thing to do. It was super hard to like rip this office apart, and like I got to finish it. Like I'm not even close. Like it was super hard to like finally be like, all right, like yesterday I just got crazy on the tractor. Was it yesterday? Yesterday I got crazy on the tractor, moved all the stuff, took hours, dude. And I put it all out there myself. No one else put the piles of stuff out in the front but me. And I just was like, dude, why is that there? I don't dig it. And I'm like, no one else is putting the piles of discomfort in my life but me. And that's the darkness I also refer to is no one's making my life difficult except me and how I deal with my life being difficult. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my convoluted take on no returns. Daisy go buckaroo. That's I'm trying to do more of that stuff too, dude. I have like I said, we're getting. That's why I moved everything around. I'm getting ready to set that up a sort of a studio to get it going here. Nature equals chaos equals order, dude. Yeah. What D Brune? There you are, my brother. What is step 2 after admitting to the gnarly nature of the genocidal military and industrial? What is step 2 after admitting? Don't participate in it. So do that. It's about removing yourself in the truth. On the final note, that's a good question. What is step 2 after admitting? Admit that you're part of it, and just put down your mental. Yeah, forgive yourself, dude. Exactly, Dazzler. Is it's you do, like listen. You don't have it. If you're in North America right now, if you're in North America, United States, you don't have a choice. You're part of it, whether you want to be or not. It's about you not being apathetic and choosing not to. You have to choose not to be part of it in here and in here. Your heart has to break free with the pain of it. And then the forgiveness. Like you have to forgive the situation and break the mental contract and admit the truth. It's really just that simple. It's like most cures are admitting that you're ill. You know what I mean? Like the only way to get the cure is to admit you're sick. The only way to solve alcoholism is to admit you're an alcoholic. The only way to stop drug addiction is to admit you're a drug addict. The only way to stop the genocide is stop pretending there isn't one, dude. Did I double negative that? I think I might have double negative that. If I double negative, I didn't mean to. So I don't really I don't know what to say anymore. But common sense, dude. I've had a horrifically wonderful life, dude. Exactly. No, it's not. And again, it's not about feeling guilty either, dude. Like I don't feel guilty. I don't have that. Like that's the scam, dude. I don't feel guilty about my life. What I do is I have to honor it and honor the moment. That's what I was talking to my son about after the movie last night. Was we have to honor our time. We can't feel guilty about it because what's that going to do? That's ego and that's you thinking that you can. I mean, metaphysically speaking, you can change this whole reality, but it's a subtle thing. Anyway, that's my hour. Think outside the box by going beyond cube consciousness. Exactly, dude. Don't get caught in the cube, the 3-dimension 5-cent cube. Push another hour. Nah, this is it's 8:43. It's time I go hang out with Al before he goes to bed, and I think I'm going to move over to the to the Brick channel tonight, dude, because it's Sunday night. I like to try to get in there on 10:30 Pacific Standard Time on Sunday nights. I've been super slacker over there, and we're gonna do that. So like, subscribe, join, become a member, dude. I appreciate the memberships out there. It really helps out. It really does, dude. And that's what we got going on. And with that said, this is the Illusion signing off, and use the name tags out there, people. Buenas noches.